Welcome to this lesson this time. So in the last lesson, we look at domain 2, which is designing AI-powered business solution. And then we started from domain 1, domain 2, domain 3. So this is now domain 3 of AB-100, Microsoft AI Business Solution Architect Examination, which is designed for people who want to build and architect agentic AI solution, whether building in Copilot Studio or Microsoft Foundry, and integrating with Microsoft Office 365 and Dynamic 365. So this is what this examination is for, and it is designed for people that want to assume this role, particularly in enterprise, in large enterprise where they use Microsoft ecosystem like Office 365 and Dynamic 365, sales, finance, and customer relationship management. So this is domain 3, which is the last domain, and it is the largest part of the examination, which carries 40 to 45% of the examination question portion. So it deals with deploying AI-powered business solution. How do you manage deployment? How do you manage deployment in Microsoft Power Platform and on Azure, using Azure DevOps pipeline and using Microsoft Power Platform pipeline? How do you manage application lifecycle using ALM, monitoring using Azure Monitor, and applying policies using Azure Policy, and governance, governing and role-based access control using Microsoft Purview and Microsoft Entra ID. So this section deals with operationalizing agents with monitoring, telemetry, that's monitoring using Azure Monitor, telemetry using application insight, and analytic insight on Copilot Studio, or tuning, okay, from observability metric, testing, in Microsoft Foundry and Microsoft Copilot Studio, ALM, which is application lifecycle management, particularly on Power Platform application, uh, using Power Platform, cloud adoption framework, and security, role-based access control, least privilege, data minimization and anonymization, PII reduction, and encryption of data, responsible use of AI, accountability, fairness, and bias mitigation, data residency, okay, particularly data residencies in a zone that are permitted, in areas that are permitted, in location where it is accessible, like SharePoint, OneDrive, and Azure Blob Storage, Cosmos DB, MongoDB, and so on and so forth. And then access control using role-based access control and Microsoft Entra ID, and application registration as well, Microsoft Entra ID, and integration with Office 365, Dynamics 365, and audit trails for governance. So this is all that this examination cover. In fact, I think I've run all this portion of the examination. So what we'll be looking at, basically, what the outcome of the lesson will be that is operationalizing agentic AI solution in Dynamics 365 and Office 365 using Copilot Studio and Microsoft Foundry. So you learn how to monitor, analyze, tune, and optimize agentic AI solution. Then validation, that has to do with testing, prompt management, source control, and prompt fine-tuning. And we have model management, token optimization, and how to choose model, SLM or LLM. Then Dynamics 365 end-to-end integration and deployment, governance. So you learn how to use application lifecycle management, security, risk, and compliance using Azure policy and company policy. So this is all we have here. So let's dive into the sections in detail. So there are 6 sections, each with 5 slides. So we'll run through quickly. Please do well to follow along. And if you listen to this lesson, I think you can even write the examination without reviewing any past question, because it goes into the detail of what is required. So let's look at what we have on slide 1. Microsoft Learn Alignment, deploy domain coverage. So deploy domain coverage means, how do you deploy agentic AI solution on how do you integrate with Office 365 and Dynamics 365 either using Microsoft Power Platform pipeline or using Azure DevOps pipeline, then how do you determine what you should use for the pipeline, what you should use for the deployment, for the CI/CD? Is it Copilot Studio or is it Microsoft Foundry? We've discussed all of this, when to build on Copilot Studio, when to build agent on Microsoft Foundry, and when to use Microsoft Office 365 Copilot to build agent. So I think by now we're all familiar with this tool and when to build. So let's look at deployment domain coverage. We'll be looking at the skill group and AB-100 deployment scope. This is very important. This is very important, guys. There are several questions from the examination on these skills. So first, analyze, monitor, and tune. Okay, so I know some of us here are as Azure experts. Okay, so we know if you've written AZ 104 or if you've been working with Azure, you know Azure Monitor and Application Insight. Okay, which is used for collecting telemetry, Azure monitoring for end-to-end monitoring. Okay, so the tool we are looking at here is a monitoring tools, feedback analysis, AI diagnostics, performance metric, telemetry interpretation. Okay, so the tools we'll be looking at monitoring tools basically here, like Azure Monitor, Application Insight, and Analytic Insight platform on Copilot Studio, and the AI diagnostic using application insight, performance metric, using application insight, telemetry interpretation, also using application insight. Manage testing. So how do you manage agent testing? So we'll be looking at this tool in the deployment scope of AB-100. We'll be looking at agent testing, custom and validation, prompt validation, and prompt management, CI/CD, and source control. Be looking at Dynamic 365 end-to-end testing, and then we'll be looking at Copilot test generation. Remember, this is theoretical examination, and they will not be doing this practical. All we'll be doing is deploying them. So if you want to learn the practical aspect of how to work with this, I think you'll be looking at there are specific certification like build AI for Dynamic 365 sales, AI for Dynamic 365 CRM, AI for Dynamic 365 finance. All those are examination area. You can also take in building intelligent application or AI builder certification. So there are many certifications, but this be focus on solution architect, just overseeing everything and know which tool to use, how you can manage developers and engineers and still communicate with school stakeholders. Then we have design ALM process. Remember, ALM is application lifecycle management. How do you start, how do you manage an application from building to deployment, to usage? How do you manage it? So entire application lifecycle process. We'll be looking at this two here: AI data, Copilot Studio, Foundry agent, custom models, Dynamic 365 workflow. Then at the last skill group we have here is responsible AI security compliance. And then here we'll be looking at tools like agent security, governance using Microsoft Purview, security using role-based access control and least privilege, model security. You can secure the model by setting guardrails, and the prompt manipulation, CI/CD and source control, residency of your agentic AI application, either using 365 Dynamics, grounding access, and audit trail. So these are the skill groups covered in this domain, and these are the specific tools that you need to understand. All right, we have slide 2. So operations mindset. So having an operation mindset is as a solution architect, you must have a culture, of operationalizing application, culture of DevOps, development and operation, because you are managing application from development to deployment to operation. So you are just an architect overseeing everything from design to development to usage. So operation, you must have an operation mindset. And then how do you have an operation mindset? By having the skill, know the skill, to operationalize application, know the skill, know the tools that you need to use to monitor and collect telemetric telemetry and application metrics so that you can monitor and determine and use the feedback to also improve the application while it is being used. So monitoring and tuning operating model is what we are looking at here. And these are the architecture terms that you should understand. First thing is reliability. So reliability involves, building a reliable application that is usable, application that is working properly, performing, and doing what it's supposed to do. So that's reliability. Accuracy. So application that is generating correct feedback. You are getting correct feedback. It is doing what it's supposed to do, and the output of the model, output of all the operation is accurate. Then you have compliance. So it comply with company policy, comply with Microsoft policy, it complies with guardrails and security. So that's compliance using Azure policy or company policy as a guardrail. Then we have telemetry. So telemetry too is application insight, where you can collect observability metric like token usage, cost control, return on investment, security feedback, and your application status, and whether it is vulnerable or not. So telemetry is where you can collect the insight. Then continuous optimization, that is using the feedback to also improve the application. You collect good and bad feedback. You use the good feedback, to boost yourself, to make yourself happy, to celebrate that you have designed a product that is working. Then you use the bad feedback to improve the application again. So that is continuous optimization, using the feedback to improve the whole application in order to get good feedback. It's called continuous optimization. So optimization is a continuous process, and that is why you are operationalizing in the first place. So let's look at the point we have here. Deploying agent is only the beginning. Production success depends on reliability, performance, accuracy, compliance, and continuous optimization. So if you've done, Azure Solution Architect Expert is at 305, you learn that one of the, you learn that this reliability, performance, accuracy, compliance, continuous optimization speak to what we call the cloud adoption framework. So if you want to adopt cloud, you must know the pillar of a good cloud application. And the pillars are security, reliability, scalability, performance efficiency, cost optimization, and operational excellence. So these are what we have there, and these are still apply to agentic AI application that you are either deploying on Azure or on Microsoft Power Platform ecosystem. So these are very, very important. So deploying is only the beginning. Operationalizing is the main, area that will determine the success of the application. And then you can't do without operationalizing, because you must continuously improve the application. You must continuously optimize the application. So reliability, performance, accuracy, compliance, and continuous optimization are what you should focus on after application deployment. Architect responsibilities include monitoring operational health. So you monitor operational health of application using Azure Monitor or Application Insight. You analyze telemetry using Application Insight or Copilot analytic platform, and then you monitor the behavior of the application, and then you tune the knowledge. You tune the knowledge if you are using a semantic indexing or RAG database, or you tune the knowledge so the application the agentic AI can have access to correct information. And then you also tune the prompt. For example, you cannot use an old prompt to operate a a new model that is supposed to be working on a new task. So maybe you designed for a task last year, and then the task has significantly improved based on the expansion of the business. Then you have to also change the prompt to the correct task, improve the prompt continuously. So that is why it is said that you should also treat your prompt as code. Then you continually monitor workflows, monitor the entire workflow, and governing risk. So core monitoring area include availability, errors, latency, throttling, accuracy, relevance, usefulness, adoption, policy, violation, data loss prevention, conflict in power platform, and guardrail triggers. So very, very important. So these are monitoring area that you should focus on. Very, very important, particularly this data loss prevention conflict of Microsoft Power Platform came out in the examination like up to 3 times with policy violation. So preventing this using Azure policy and company policy, okay, secure adoption through training and awareness awareness campaign, and the usefulness, monitoring whether it is useful by collecting feedback from the business owners, monitor relevance, whether the output of the what you are having is correct and relevant to the business operation, monitor accuracy of the outputs of the operation, monitor throttling, whether the whether the application is working and it is functioning as it should, monitor latency, what is the speed of the operation, a business owner getting what they need at the right time, or is the application delaying, monitor error in the outputs, is the operation correct, is the output, is the flow of the work of the agent correct, monitor availability and downtime, and the guardrail triggers are very, very important. So AI system require observability tuning like enterprise application. So AI are applications, and they are special applications like that as such. So you monitor traditional applications. In traditional application, you don't have anything like prompt, you don't have anything like base model. So AI come with even more, or more work in terms of operationalizing, in terms of monitoring. Because why? You have to monitor the entire application like traditional software. You have to monitor the base model, which is the LLM for token usage and the performance hallucination and all that. You have to monitor the prompt, because prompt is what will make the agent to function. LLM is just the brain. LLM is just like the intellectual capacity that will coordinate everything, but agents are the ones that does the work. So agents are the ones that coordinate, that perform the task based on the prompt and the skill that you have given unto them using their agent card. So you have to still monitor the agent and monitor the prompt. Very, very important. So AI system require observability and tuning like enterprise applications. Okay. If you must monitor everything, monitor the model, monitor the LLM, monitor the agent, monitor the prompt, monitor the entire workflow, and monitor the whole application itself. All right, on this next slide, we have monitoring architecture. Good. You are a solution architect, and architecture should be, your architecture should be your mindset. Designing is your mindset. You can see when we discuss everything, we discuss the architecture terms, because you are an architect. Architecture terms should be your language. You should speak in architect, you should speak as an architect, write as an architect, act as an architect, and work as an architect. You understand? So that is why all those architectural terms, I make sure to list them out beside every slide. You understand? So monitoring architecture, very, very important. Multi-layer monitoring model. How do you monitor agentic AI architecture? Remember, monitoring also is not an afterthought, just like we said in security. That security is not an afterthought. Include monitoring in your design from beginning. Not start designing for monitoring after the application has been deployed. Include monitoring in your application from the beginning of the design. When you are designing, include monitoring. So these are layers where you should monitor, and these are the metrics that you can use, metrics and signals that you can collect from your Azure Monitor or application insight to determine the health of the system. The first one is operational health. So what are the metrics you can use here? For operational health monitoring, you collect metric like uptime, how long is the application up, how long is it up, for how long is it down. So monitor uptime and downtime metric, collect uptime and downtime metric, collect availability metric, how many times is the application available, and if it goes down, what causes the going down. Then monitor collect error frequency metric, collect processing delay metric, collect API failure metric. So all these metrics will help you monitor operational health and the health of the entire application system. Performance. So for performance monitoring, so this is how the application is performing, whether it is doing what it's supposed to do, whether it is functioning or not functioning, whether it is meeting the need of the business or not meeting it. So these are the metric and signals that you should work with here. Collect metric like response time, workflow completion, tool invocation success, and throughput. So this metric will enable you determine the performance of the application. Then for quality, so quality is the, how correct or how useful is the output or the answer that the agentic system is generating. How correct is the entire workflow when it is done? How correct is the data that you are getting from the agentic system application? So that is quality. So determine quality, collect metric like correctness, business rule compliance, output relevance, and usefulness. So is the output useful or is the agent useful? Is the output relevant to the business or it is not relevant? Is the agent complying with business rule? Is the output in compliance with business rule? Or is it within the business guardrail and business context? Also determine this correctness. So also determine the correctness of the entire operation, the entire process, and the agentic AI output. So usage, another layer is usage. So in usage, collect metric like adoption, session volume, usage trend, popular capabilities. So collect all these metrics to determine usage. So know the number of people using the agent, how many people in the business department has adopted the use of the agentic AI, session volume. So determine the session is being used, say 1 hour per day, 2 hours per day, usage trend. So follow the trend. Is it high or is it low? Popular capabilities. So what are they using it for? So is it meeting their need? Is it meeting their capability? And so on and so forth. Then security and compliance. Also, another layer is security and compliance. So for security and compliance, collect metric like data loss prevention violation in Microsoft Power Platform, unauthorized attempts, okay, unauthorized attempts at calling APIs or accessing the wrong data, guardrail activation. So guardrail using company policy, is it obeying the policy that you have defined, or is it working against what you have set as guardrail? Then sensitive exposure. So guardrail will enable you to determine whether the agent is bounded or whether the agent is working within the context of the business. And then sensitivity exposure. So how exposed is the agent to sensitive data that it should not be exposed to? Then the last layer is operating model. So for operating model, collect metric like operation teams, product owner, data engineer, architect, incident response, and alert. So operating models. So for this operating model, you get metrics, you get feedback from these people. Operation team, these are the DevOps teams, okay, that oversees the entire application. You have the product owner. So apart from this, you are the architect. There's someone that will own the product. So as an architect, you are in charge of designing the entire architecture from beginning to the end. Product owner owns the product, so they are the one, okay, that also determine. They also work with business owner, okay, so they relate with business owner, and they are the one that will determine whether the business owner likes the product or are adopting the product or not. And then you work with data engineer to design a RAG database, search index and semantic index, to determine whether data architecture is properly built and whether the agent have access to accurate data. Then you also, as an architect, you collect your own metric as well to measure your own metric, because you are overseeing all of this. So you also determine and use your metric as well to, improve the architecture. Then you have incident response, change management, incident response for reliability, scalability, and alerts. Okay. So these are the layer that you have in monitoring architecture, and these are the metric and signals that you should collect. All right, so we have monitoring tools. So these are tools for agent observability. We have looked at monitoring application and the layers and the metric. Then to tools for agent observability. What are the tools that you can use to collect this metric? What are the tools that you can use for each layer that we have discussed in the previous slide? So we have tools and what it tracks. The first one is Azure Monitor. Okay, we all know that Azure Monitor is used for monitoring and collecting log and metric of an entire application deployed on Azure, as long as the application is deployed on Azure. So data engineer, you are building in Data Factory, you have monitoring tab where you can monitor your pipeline, how many pipeline run, how many pipeline run, how long it takes, which pipeline fail, why it failed, and then you go there, you use the logs to debug and also give feedback for auditing. Then also in Synapse, you have monitoring in every application or in every platform or resource on Azure. You have monitoring tools for them. So also if you build an agent on Azure, we are going to use Azure Monitor as the platform to monitor it. So Azure Monitor help you track telemetry, log or metrics, or workflows, latency, throughput, error, and then you analyze this log using KQL. KQL is a log analytic language which help you analyze telemetry logs in real time. Okay, so you have dashboard where you can visualize using bar chart or pie chart or line chart depending on your taste, and then you can set alerts to send you a message on your phone number or send message to your email or Teams when there is a problem, when there is when there is a failure, or when there is something in the system, or when token usage exceed the limit that you have set. You can set alerts to receive alerts when any of this happens. Then another tool is log analytics. So log analytics is used for analyzing textual, telemetry that you have collected using Azure Monitor. And the language log analytics used is called KQL, which is called Coastal Query Language. It's a real-time analytic, query language used for, uh, uh, used for analyzing log collected from your application. So in log analytic, you can use it for query and analyzing diagnostic logs and agent telemetry using KQL language. Then we have Microsoft 365 Admin Analytics. So it is all okay. Microsoft 365 Admin Analytics. You can use this to track adoption, how people are using the agent in Office 365. This is particular to Office 365. So you can track how people in the company are adopting the agent, are using the agent. You can use this to track engagement. You can use this to track usage trend, and you can use it to track how each department uses the agent. So you can use it to determine departmental usage. Mind you, this one is part of the examination. Then Copilot Analytic Dashboard. So you see Azure Monitor many times in the application. See at Microsoft 365 Admin Analytics many times. See Copilot Analytic Dashboard many times in the application. So for Copilot Analytic Dashboard, this is specifically used for any agent that you build using Copilot Studio. And what you can use it to track invocation frequency, how often is the agent invoked, or is it being triggered. Then you can use it to track query patterns. You can use it to track task completion rates. Can use it to track productivity and error rates. Then we have Power Platform Admin Center. This can be used to track environmental health, connector usage, flow performance, and data loss prevention impact. And then we have Power BI dashboard. Of course, we know that Power BI dashboard is used for visualization, and then visualization is is part of what everybody should know now. Even as an architect, you should know how to use a Power BI dashboard, because everybody, you analyze analysis give insight to the data you are collecting. And as an architect, you are also working with data. Like, believe me or not, you are still an analyst. Okay, so you use all this log to analyze all these metrics that you have collected, and then when you analyze, that is when you'll be able to track and measure is whether your whether your architecture is succeeding or failing. Okay, so Power BI dashboard can be used for used for heat map, scorecard, brief report, compliance report, and KPI card generation. So you can use Power BI dashboards to report for your reporting and visualization, so you can easily understand what is going on in the system. So these are the tools you have, and these are what you can use them to track. All right, so on this slide, we have product feedback. So product feedback is getting feedback from the business owners, getting feedback from the departmental users, getting feedback from the CEOs, from the CTOs, from the CFOs. Okay, so because these are people that you can get feedback from. So if the feedback determine the success or failure of the agents that you have designed or built or architected. So feedback is very, very important, and feedback can be good or bad. You use the good one, to, celebrate yourself, and use the bad one to improve the application. That is the language. So we have backlog and user feedback analysis. And then the architecture terms that you should look at here, that you should understand here, are surveys. So you can, use Microsoft form to get surveys, from the business owners, from the CTO, from the CFO, from the CEO, etc. So design a survey, yes or no question, satisfaction message, or question, or everything. Use survey to gather feedback from the users, from the business owners, and then you can use transcript, agent transcript, maybe agent log and everything. You can also use to get feedback. You can use project or product backlog. Okay, so in the design, you have a project manager, you have a product manager. So collect backlog from the project manager and the product manager and all the developers to also track, measure the feedback of the whole architecture. Then impact and effort. So you can use the part of the architecture term is, you understand, in feedback analysis is impact of the agentic AI solution to the business domain, to the people, to the employee, and to the user. And then effort. So what effort is it reducing? Is it wasting employees' time, or is it reducing their time? Is it optimizing their output, or is it adding more work to them, or is it increasing cost, and so on and so forth? Then root cause analysis. So if there are problems, what causes the problem? So these are root cause analysis, and these are the architecture terms and tools and the ways of collecting feedback from your architecture. So let's look at this in detail. Feedback sources include surveys, ratings, support tickets, telemetry, analytics, and conversation transcript, as we have discussed in the architecture terms. So these are feedback sources that you can use. Okay, take note of all this. Use any of them that is easy for you. You can easily use Microsoft Form to get surveys, ratings, and support tickets. Okay, so you can use telemetry, application insight from all the tools that we have discussed under under monitoring tools. You can use analytics from Power BI dashboard. You can use conversation transcripts, okay, from the agent database itself. The backlog categories include accuracy, knowledge, performance, user experience, integration, and governance. So these are the backlog categories that you can use. So you can get accuracy from the agent output or agent conversation transcript. You can get knowledge, from the data engineer or from the knowledge base, performance metric from all your monitoring tools that we have discussed above, user experience. Get this from the user, maybe from surface or from product owner or project manager. And then you have integration, Office 365, Dynamics 365 governance using Microsoft Purview, and the Azure policy for compliance. Then prioritize phases by impact and effort. Okay, so always prioritize phases. Use bad feedback to fix the product, to fix the architecture, and to optimize the entire architecture. So high impact / low effort first, high impact, high effort as roadmap items. So the impact you should focus on first is high impact, low effort. Okay, so if the impact of the agent is high, but the efforts that people are putting in is low, so you make sure you fix this first. Then your aim, your target at the end of the day at the end of the architecture should be high impact, high effort. Okay, so effort should not be low and impact is high. Let them be on the same level. So high impact, high effort. So effort is high, so the work output is high. The impact of the agentic AI solution is also high. Should be your roadmap item. There's transcript analysis. Remember this transcript from the conversation between the agent and the user, or between the agent and the owner. So transcript analysis reveals user goal, agent interpretation, outcome, friction point, and tuning recommendation. So these are what you can use a transcript analysis to achieve. And then we have continuous improvement loop. So this operationalization is a loop. So you do it again, you do it again, optimize, operate again, optimize, operate again, optimize. So it is a loop, and that you can never stop. You don't stop this process until when the application is withdrawn from the system. So continuous improvement loop, start with feedback, okay, using any of the platform that we have discussed, then analyze the feedback, okay, for bad feedback and good feedback. If it is bad, determine the root cause of the feedback, okay, and then from the root cause, tune the model, tune the agent, improve the prompt, improve the entire application. If you need to connect more to connect tools, if you need to improve the data layer, improve the data, okay, then deploy again. After tuning, you deploy again, and then you validate. Validation is testing and implementing guardrail using policy and Microsoft Purview for governance. And then you when you deploy, you validate, and then you collect feedback again, and the whole loop starts again. So this is the loop of feedback implementation and analysis. And I can tell you, this is the entire operational process. All right, so we are done with the first section of this domain 3. When we come back, we'll continue with the next session. If you are just joining us, please kindly like and subscribe to the channel, and share with someone to encourage your girl, and to also encourage us to make more videos like this. Thank you.